What? 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 What did I just... Why? Why? Can we watch a lore video? Okay. I need to think. I need like a moment to like think about what we experienced just now. The only idea that I have is that we only ever take place in the one room. We never like go anywhere. Honestly, the like mall felt like the clearest indication of some kind of, maybe they're like a hikikomori or something, and the only experience they have is like documenting their dreams. And maybe it's, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of like isolation, like when you like how dreams feel more vivid when there's no other experiences. I'm not sure. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because in the same time where it feels like none of this makes any sense, it feels like there's just enough crumbs where I understand why people would get really intrigued into kind of looking more into it. But it does feel like it's some kind of, at least the character we're playing as is some kind of hikikomori, is my guess. Just based on the fact that we don't ever leave our room, and then we just decide that we've had enough one day. Remember the woman's room? Yeah, like maybe there's some kind of traumatic experience there. Okay, let's watch her lore explanation. Yume Nikki lore explained. 2-hour lore video? That's a little long. But I feel bad watching the whole thing on stream without getting permission from them. Let's read. Or we could just read. The developer of this game kind of disappeared, if I recall. Interesting. Okay. Let's read the theories. Let's read the wiki theories, okay? Wow, this is long. This is more theories. Okay, that's long, and that seems like it's more trying to explain each individual area, whereas I'm looking for more of a... What is this? Royal College of Psychiatrics. Yume Nikki, insights into social isolation through playing a video game. This is from the Royal College of Psychiatrists. Where is this based? This is a real university. This is real? They've got like a whole article here explained. Did you enjoy the game? I did. I mean, it's so fascinating because I could understand why this would have been so impactful in 2024. Like, it's so funny, right? Because if a game like this had just dropped stealthily today, I don't think it would ever be found. I don't think anyone would ever talk about it. I don't think it would ever, you know what I mean? Like, this could only exist in the 2004 era of the internet with forums where you wouldn't have many other experiences like this at the time to analyze and to share. And so it's such a possibly, no, I mean, I think like, look, if a game like this had dropped today, I think it would not be found, or it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't have become as big of a name as it was. And there's plenty of art like this that goes unseen every single day on the internet. This is very common. You know, when you think even like to Fear and Hunger wasn't popularized until like, 2-3 years after it came out, after some YouTubers had, found out about it, and it kind of got a bit more popular, right? So these art often go kind of missing. Let's have a look. This article from the Royal, I'll link it to all of you, but I'll read some of it. This is Royal Psychiatrics, Royal College of Psychiatrics. The exploration of Madosuke's room reveals little to do beyond playing a simple and repetitive minigame on a retro game console, interacting with a television which displays no channels, or saving progress in a diary. Given the lack of enjoyable options to pass the time, perhaps it's no surprise that going to bed offers an appealing alternative, which is when Madosuke begins to dream. Each dream begins in Madosuke's apartment, which appears similar to its waking world equivalent, aside from one important aspect. Madosuke is able to leave through the front door. Oh yeah, I guess that is such an impactful gameplay mechanic. You can't leave during the day, unable to leave the room. But the only time you feel like you can leave is through the dream world. Indeed, unlike most games that assure the player knows how to play the game, Yume Nikki stands out with the sheer absence of dialogue. Okay, anxiety and disorientation are inevitable as wander in the illogical realm, feelings arguably not so dissimilar to being brought about by prolonged isolation. Even in the game's elusive creator, Kikiyama, who has kept their true identity a mystery, has remained doggedly silent on the validity of many fan theories and interpretations of what Yume Nikki means. Some fans question whether or not the Kikiyama is Hikikomori, and if Kikiyama drew upon their own personal experience of isolation when making the game. Okay, let's see if we can find something that kind of talks a bit more about it. Some players speculate as to whether the transformational effects, such as the ability to fatten Madasuki or change her into a faceless ghost, may hint at an underlying disturbed body image or issues with self-esteem. Interesting. Perhaps more unsettlingly, is the knife effect, which when equipped will cause many characters to flee Madasuki, whilst immobile characters start shuffling around in seemingly panicked manner. Players may, if they choose, attack the characters with a knife and even kill them to obtain coins. These coins can be used to increase the player health at the vending machines, but there's no reason to do this, as much like in a dream, it is not possible to get hurt. The game gives no overt sign of whether you're doing the right thing or not, and players are kept ruminating as to the meaning of their actions and their possible consequences. In fact, one does not need to use the knife at all when completing Yume Nikki, regardless of their meaning, much like the game's environmental effect. They're confusing and unsettling. Okay. I'm trying to find if there's any kind of good theory here. Games such as Yume Nikki could play a crucial role in increasing players' understanding and empathy for hikikomori by helping them experience firsthand the horrors of isolation. In fact, one study assessing individual playing Yume Nikki found that players showed an increased understanding of hikikomori alongside a desire to learn more about it. Interesting. It's remarkable how this was the case even when the game itself left a less significant impression on the players. Themes of isolation. I think we've already kind of picked up on that. Themes of anxiety. Okay. The staircase of hands is filled with hands emerging from below the staircase. Okay. Body themes. Themes of violence. Themes of traffic accidents. Themes of escapism. Okay. Themes of identity. Interesting. So it seems like there's kind of like, it's kind of what I felt like. Like there's little pieces of everything, but nothing concrete that's pointing you in any direction of anything. Hospital themes in the mall. Efficient dubbed by the mall by the fans of several rooms that closely resemble a doctor's or therapist office, complete with a reception fitting wall posters that slightly resemble graphs of human body, 2 couches and a character sneezing. Entering a second room leads you to the O-Man, a character playing a cheerful music as the flute effect can be found here. In another room, structured to the above, there is a character who has a large amount of red liquid coming out of its head, falls over when interacting with, spilling said liquid on the floor. The sound of liquid pouring out could be interpreted as the sound of a beating heart, adding to the hospital theme. Main area, okay, sure. I think there's a lot of weird things happening, and I think there's a lot of theories probably for everything, but I don't think it seems like there's no concrete explanation for any of this, which is, I imagine, is fantastic in the age of forums when you want to talk about it. ChatGPT is for these moments. Okay, let's see when I just type it into Google what Yume Nikki explained. Let's see what the AI prompt says. The narrative is open for interpretation. Thank you, Clanker. With widespread consensus, the game depicts themes of social isolation, depression, and trauma, often associated with the Japanese concept of hikikomori. That makes sense. I think we've already kind of got that. What an interesting game, though. I mean, I think it's quite interesting in the sense that it is really hard to, if you're not a hikikomori, like, you know, I mean, half of my lifestyle is hikikomori, but actually I'm not, because I love socializing. I have that very strong desire to go out, but it is really hard for me to imagine what that is like, given the fact that I really enjoy socializing and traveling and doing all these things. Like, it's super far removed from what I have ever experienced, but I don't know how true to the feeling it would be to hikikomori, but I imagine there is this kind of otherworldly kind of pressure in your head that has been created that you just can't leave. And I would never know what that feels like. Like we said earlier, like, it's free to be compassionate and empathetic, and I think to try and understand these things more. And I think it's really cool, those games that cover all this kind of stuff. Because it's one thing hearing about it and watching these videos, people sitting in their room, but when I've watched those videos of hikikomori, it, you know, truthfully, it feels so weird to watch it, because I'm just like, you're just watching this, and it's the parent, and like, these are the cases obviously as well where the parent lives with them, and it's like, bro, just leave the room, you know, in my head, because mom's right there knocking on the door being like, hey, can you come out? You know, like it feels so far removed from what I can remotely understand, because just watching it, it's almost hard to sympathize with the hikikomori, because in that situation, I sympathize more with the parents, right? Like, you know, like when you watch those videos, you sympathize so much with the parents because you're hearing it from their perspective. Whereas oftentimes when they show the hikikomori on camera, they're just kind of like nonverbal. They don't want to talk. And it's like, bro, you brought a camera into their house and they're hikikomori. I doubt they want to fucking talk. You know what I mean? It's definitely a more prominent thing now, especially with, I feel like you know, there is no social mobility anymore. Nobody feels like there are any opportunities anymore. Like, what's the point of going outside? And I think that's the beauty of games like this, that it might not necessarily, you might not walk away with this, I think, like, feeling like that made sense, that was awesome.
As
but
someone who
for a moment,
struggles with a lot of those themes, it's pretty spot on.
Oh,
Appreciate you taking the time
no,
to
of course.
try and understand themes you can't relate to.
Dude, I mean, that's art, man. Like, I think you rob yourself of any art if you're not trying to understand it. And like I was saying, like, you don't necessarily need to walk away from the game being like, hey, I get it. Like, or, hey, it made sense to me. Because it didn't make any sense to me. But it is a window into a viewpoint of which you don't have. And it allows you to, for just a brief moment, try to make sense of what someone else's mind feels like. And I think that's really beautiful. And that's why we play games, I think, truthfully. And that's why I play a lot of these weird games. We don't always find something interesting. We don't always find something that I can kind of like really delve into, but I think it's really interesting to kind of have that chance to look at it. So I can understand why, and I would have loved to have been around. I mean, I was around, but I was 8 years old. I wish I kind of stumbled upon this, although maybe I shouldn't have with the vivid imagery. I would have loved to have stumbled upon this earlier and kind of had a look into the culture around this game at the time. It would have been so fascinating talking about it and dissecting it. It's so cool. What a cool thing. And dropping off the face of the earth after releasing this is kind of a crazy call. We hope the artist is doing well and the creator's doing all right. But damn, what an interesting game. And I can see why aspects of it would inspire, because there is this kind of anxiety and this dread every single time you go into another room that I imagine is super impactful to use in a game, in any other game, to kind of mimic that kind of like, you do not truly not know where this door is going to take you in a really anxiety riddled way. So I thought it was really interesting, and I really enjoy it. I could see why a lot of games would take inspiration from this and build upon it. Because I think great ideas, super artistic in the way that it's presented in this game particularly, but if you want to make a game that like sold or was more compelling from a narrative aspect, yeah, you could definitely do it. So maybe we'll play Ib, and maybe we'll play like Mad Father or something next. I don't know. These old, those are the only three that I know are kind of like the legendary three of those. So maybe we'll play this at some point. But I got a lot of other games to play as well.